Do you know? Did you watch when Floyd Mayweather was doing? I believe it was for Showtime. They were doing one of those behind the scenes things at his gym, and he has what he calls doghouse fights. And let me just say that this kind of thing has been going on in gyms forever, right? They've always had gym wars, and people have even set up. And this was a thing that I'm pretty sure became illegal in California fairly recently, within the last decade. They stopped allowing people to have what they call smokers. And what a smoker is, they have organized fights, but there's not really like a lot of medical on hand.
Nobody gets paid.
Nobody gets paid, but it gives people valuable experience. They used to have a lot of them in Muay Thai. Like, I used to go to them. They were cool. They would set up like these little plastic lawn chairs. You'd pay a small amount of money, like $30 or something like that, and you'd go and you watch all these amateur fights. And a lot of times kids are pretty fucking talented, and it's fun to watch. But so they've always had organized gym fights. So essentially what Floyd Mayweather did was have his own like in-house gym fights, like amateur fights. Like, they didn't even disguise the fact that it was a competition. Like, they weren't trying to spar. Like, these guys are having fights. And he was talking about how it's to the death. It's really crazy. And he has these guys. One guy gets beat up, and he's Hasim Rahman's brother or son. Hasim Rahman's son, I believe. See if you can Google who the gentleman was.
The comments were saying it was his brother, but that was just the comments.
Okay, his brother. Maybe it's his brother. That makes more sense, because Hasim Rahman is not that old to have a kid that's that, like that developed. Because he looks like he's like in his 20s. Maybe he is. Anyway, point being, so this English guy beats up Hasim Rahman's one brother, and then the mom comes back with the bigger brother, and the English guy fights him too, all in the same day. And they're fighting like these 30-minute rounds. It's crazy.
Is there a winner and a loser?
They put it on TV. Yeah, I mean, dude, there's definitely a winner and a loser.
No, is there
but what's
money
crazy
involved?
is,
I'm sorry. The question was, is there Geetus involved?
No, I don't think there is. I mean, there might be. I mean, Floyd might reward them or something like that. But, I mean, it's crazy shit. And, I mean, in one way, yeah, this will develop character. And I don't have a problem with people doing whatever they decide to do. If somebody wants to fight a 30-minute fight, I don't have a problem with that.
Joe Rogan.
You should be able to do it if you want to.
They've been doing this since Jesus left Chicago.
But
you
the thing
did this
is,
in Boston when you were doing a brown belt in karate with your buddies. You did this.
But the thing is, I'm not a promoter in Las Vegas.
Right, that's a big difference.
That's a big difference, and I'm not a professional fighter on television. I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with what he did, because it is a part of gym culture. It is a part of what's made champions. I mean, this kind of stuff, these heated battles. This is a very uncomfortable reality that elite fighters like Floyd Mayweather face. Like, to be that good, you have to be that real. And for a guy like him to show like these kind of crazy 30-minute, no time limit fights in the gym and put it on TV, it's pretty wild. And I see both sides of it. I totally see Floyd Mayweather's side of it. Look at him. I mean, he feeds off that. But guess what? That mentality is why that motherfucker was 49-0, right? That motherfucker is arguably the best boxer ever. Who got hurt less than Floyd Mayweather? Who boxed people's face off that everybody thought was going to kill him better than Floyd Mayweather? Remember when he fought Maidana? And he fought him the first time, and Maidana caught him in one of the exchanges, like right before the bell rang. We were like, whoa. And then they fought again the second time, and he just put a clinic on Maidana. Just put a clinic on him. It's like all of a sudden Maidana was fighting a totally different guy. Like Floyd had figured out Maidana's style, or decided not to fuck around this fight and decided, to really take him seriously and really focus on him, and he just beat his ass.
Brother, he's a genius in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
I don't agree with a lot of this shit he does, and but listen, man.
His self-promotion game's off the charts.
It's off the charts.
His self-promotion game is the greatest of all time.
He's
probably
made
more money.
He's made me laugh at night sometimes. I've watched this show, and he's made me laugh. And it's that show you watch because you don't really like the dude.
Yeah.
But you want, I mean, so.
I bet I would love him. I bet I would love him.
I would love him.
He's a psycho.
And I've watched him fight like 3 times. I'm like, you know what? The proof is in the motherfucking pudding.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Proof is in the pudding. Let him do whatever the fuck he wants.
You don't get a guy like that unless he's a guy like that. You don't get that 49-0 unless he's that kind of dude. But I think he handles it as good as any fucking human being that could be in that position handles it. It's a crazy position to be in, to be a young guy and be worth that much money. And your nickname's Money Mayweather. I mean, who the fuck names himself Money? I mean, he's hilarious.
I ain't got nothing wrong with you if you talk shit and back it.
Yeah,
not anymore
exactly.
At this point in my life. You know what I'm reading right now? A buddy of mine gave it to me, Hollywood Henderson. Are you old enough for that? Hollywood Henderson was a Dallas Cowboy. That was the real deal. You understand me? They don't even make them like that no more. Showed up rookie day. I'll give you the article with 3 hits of acid, a gram of blow. Right here, the Thousand Oaks. And in the off season, he would rent the hotel and hang out with Pryor at the Comedy Store. Wow. Hollywood Henderson was the lad with Pointer Sisters. This was before Rick James. And before they played the Denver Broncos, this is his claim to fame, he went on national TV and took a can of Orange Crush with the Denver Broncos drank, that soda, and he fucking crushed it with the juice in it with one hand.
Whoa.
And in the Super Bowl, he intercepted and scored as a linebacker. And then he just fucking blew up the ball with big fucking, he talks shit. People hate him. They hate him. He talks shit.
Yeah.
But on game day, he showed up. Then they threw him out because he put fucking 2 fingers up during the game, and the owner of the Cowboys saw him at that time.
What's 2 fingers? You can't do 2 fingers?
They were losing on TV. On national TV, and Hollywood Henderson, the camera came over, and instead of watching, he advertised a towel. He goes, yo, if you need these towels and shit. And they were like the receiver's company. The next day, Tom Landry fired Hollywood Henderson. And after that, it was all over. He was smoking fucking crack and bazookas, but he won the lottery in Texas.
He won the lottery?
He became a born-again Christian.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, this
Hollywood
is
Henderson was my motherfucker, dog.
Wow. That's a fun story. Yeah. Man, I just want to be clear about all that stuff that I was saying about the Floyd Mayweather thing. I just think that the athletic commissions, like when they fine people and when they get mad at people for stuff, it's like sometimes they do it in a very heavy-handed way. And I think it's kind of obscene. Like what happened with Vanderlei Silva, I think is obscene. You know that story. They banned Vanderlei for life. He ran away from a test, which he definitely shouldn't have done. Definitely shouldn't have done. But if he was on something that he shouldn't have been on, suspend him as if you caught him for that something. Like suspend him for, maybe an extra 6 months because he's a dick because he ran away from you. But you can't say for life. You can't just take away a guy.
Though, did he not? It wasn't that isolated incident only.
Vanderlei.
Was it the only isolated incident?
Yeah, Vanderlei
he
wasn't.
He didn't test positive before?
No, Vanderlei has never tested positive before.
Okay, then.
Ever. No, it's not saying he hasn't done anything. Like in Pride, Ensign Inoue, when he was on here, he was talking about his Pride contract, and he said it was, and Eve Edwards said the same thing. It said in capital letters, "We do not test for steroids."
They give you a syringe on the house and shit.
Yeah, so it's not saying that he didn't do them ever, but Vanderlei never tested positive. No, so they had no reason to suspect him, other than if they follow the sniff test, but. You got there's no proof. And again, that's the only argument, whether it's proof or not proof, right? It's not whether or not you think he was guilty.
I got to tell you something. I thought I had, good stories about hiding from probation officers and shit.
This is actual Ensign's contract?
Yeah, it says at the bottom there.
Oh, here it says, performance-enhancing stimulants of steroid-based family are specifically excluded from the scope of the test. Why don't they just write, have at it, boys? And gals, too. Shit.
I've hidden from some.
Everybody.
There was one probation officer in Boulder that used to fuck with me, so I had to hide from him from time to time. But I've heard some stories years after about some of the Brazilian fighters and shit, what they've done with us duggos down there, whatever the fuck it is. Didn't Jose Aldo stop him at the airport Didn't something happen where they got their fucking visas returned or something like that? The Brazilians are notorious for fucking with these people. Fucking with them. Something happened. They were at the airport, and their visas got. Then there was somebody else who had a problem.
Well, the guy came to Aldo's gym, and they didn't know who the guy was, and they didn't trust him. And you got to also, I mean, all suspicions aside that people always have when someone comes to you and says they're going to test you for steroids, and then you don't want to take that test. There's always going to be suspicion. Well, that's because you're guilty. But you have to take into consideration the possibility that it was not communicated very well, that you might be talking about two different languages. And Aldo, who speaks a little bit of English, but not that much, all of a sudden he's meeting these people, and he's in Brazil, and he's very famous. So he doesn't know if he's being fucked with. He doesn't know if this is real, if it's random, if they just show up. Nobody warns you. So it's not like the UFC calls you up and says, Jose, how are you, man? It's Mike from the UFC. I just want to let you know that this guy who's testing you right now for steroids is totally legit. No, they just show up, dude. They just show up, and they don't even want to present you with information. They don't want to present you with ID. Like Chael Sonnen was telling the story about how when they tested him and how bizarre it was. Didn't he say they pulled him into a bathroom or something like that to test him? Yeah. Like a janitor's closet or something. They tested him in a janitor's closet. And he's like, what the fuck? You're drawing my blood? And he's like, and it turned out to actually be USADA. He goes, but it could easily have been just some fucking crazy person who just wanted my blood and my piss. You know, I mean, you don't know. It's
now what happened with Tim Kennedy?
What happened with him?
That they went over to his house and he came home from the gym sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy made him take a shower. I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing.
They couldn't do the test for like an hour for some reason. I don't know. I don't remember what the reason was. Or maybe the guy had to get the test brought over or something.
And the guy went in the shower.
So he goes, I have to keep an eye on you. He goes, oh, really? Well, listen. He goes, I'm going to take a shower. I just got done training. And that's actually, especially if you're doing jiu-jitsu, it's actually really important.
Important that you jump in the shower.
Yeah, because you get scratches, and those scratches on your body, you can get staph on those. And staph lives in your nose, and it lives in saliva, and it lives in, like, when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're just awash in bacteria. Holds USADA rep at gunpoint.
Yes.
When is
showed up
this?
at his house. The guy showed up in his driveway.
When is this?
This was in August.
Oh, my God. Demands to know who he is.
Here's the little story on it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, these motherfuckers are coming over like the Cubans to your house.
If you're ever driving down Tim Kennedy's block, make sure he knows who the hell you are.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They pull up on you. You can't do that shit, Joe. You can't pull up on me
After
like that.
slowly pulling up to Kennedy's driveway and parking his car, the USADA collector was greeted at the wrong end of a barrel. Whoa. He demanded to know who he was. It looks like Kennedy is cleaning up the streets as USADA tries to clean up professional mixed martial arts. Wow. Wow, this is crazy. He's saying that he thought the USADA rep might be a terrorist disguised as a urine collector. Wow, that's funny. Yeah, that's a dangerous guy to sneak up on. You got to be real careful. That's not a guy you want to fucking...
You got to be a little... I know Diaz didn't let him in. He just told him, I'm sleeping.
A lot of people don't like the idea of just being stopped. Like, you have to always worry about that. That's like an added element that you think of. That you have to be stopped in the middle of your sleep. Someone can wake you up at 7:30 in the morning. Ding dong. And you have to give them blood and piss right there. You have to. It's a deal. So you've lost
blood and piss?
I think so. I think at the very least they're testing blood. I know Nevada was doing urine too. I wonder if they're still doing urine. But the more stringent tests apparently are all blood-based. It's
you have to give them your schedule, where you're going, what time you're training.
Cowboy got in trouble.
That's tough.
Cowboy got in trouble because they said, we're at your ranch. He goes, well, I'm at the UFC. And he's like, you have to let us know where you're going. He goes, well, doesn't the UFC tell you I'm going to be here? He's like, this is where I'm going. Like, I'm promoting the UFC. I'm here for the UFC. I got a fight coming up. That's why I'm there. Like, they didn't tell you I was going to be there. And so they have to, like, warn him and give him, like, you're a bad boy because we didn't know where you were. Well, send someone here, motherfucker. You know where he is now.
I'm here right here.
Yeah, but he had to, like, give them his schedule. Like, no matter where you where you're going. You know, I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to be on this river. Okay, we're going to show up. Then come down the river on a mountain bike and try to collect your piss or your blood or whatever.
You have no idea what life is when they get tracked second to second like that.
Oh, it must be horrible.
It's a fucking nightmare.
What is this, Jamie?
They have an app now so that they can check in
You.
and type in like
That's
where
so
they are.
crazy. Oh my god.
Gives the GPS info.
Oh my god, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. That's how far we have to go to keep people from doing steroids. You gotta track them like a drone. You gotta follow them with a drone.
When they came to my house, I was a criminal. I'd given up my right. It's so fucking bizarre. And they would show up. This one dude had it out for me because I told you I put the fucking Alka-Seltzer in the pistol one time, and I fucked him up. So now this little southern guy would come to me. He'd show up at my job. He'd show up fucking everywhere. And like twice I gave him piss, but at least I got to talk to him and shit. He wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't like not a heavy at all. The one time I just wouldn't let him in. And then he filed me for a probation violation, but I proved I wasn't there. I was at the airport. So.
Yeah, it's when someone
I can't do it no more.
you
I couldn't be in a
check in
halfway
with
house
someone,
now.
that would put you in a weird position with that person.
No, you have no idea. There's people who come out of prison, they put them in that situation, and they fail, and they go right back to prison. And they'll tell you, I never want to be in a halfway house situation again.
Yeah.
Because it's too,
It's not really freedom.
it's not really freedom in a way. At that level of
Yeah,
gym.
it's like they're weaning you off of freedom. That's why it's a halfway house, right?
Right. So, okay, I'm at the gym. I leave work. I got to call them and say I'm headed over to 10th Planet HQ. What's the address? 602, whatever. And then as I'm leaving there, let's say you go, okay, we're going to go over across the street to get a protein shake. And when you go over there, the place is closed. So you go next door or something like that. They could violate you for that.
Yeah.
It's tough to, nobody.
But it's working.
But it's working, and it makes you accountable.
Yeah, it makes
which
you
is the
accountable.
most important thing. Anyway.
And you're definitely going to eliminate 90-something% of the people that would be willing to take a chance and take a steroid. But then there's always the possibility that there's people that are ahead of the curve. Like we can't think that, all those times when they had that clear stuff, when Victor Conte was using that stuff on his athletes that was undetectable, they would call it the clear. And then they figured out what the clear was, and now you can test for it. But back then, nobody had a test for it. But once they find tests for whatever the fuck people are using now that are skirting around tests, we're going to go, oh, we thought those guys were clean. Like there's going to be a certain percentage, whatever that percentage is, whether it's 10%, there's always going to be a percent that's trying something. There's always going to be a percent that's willing to try something. It's just out of all the people that we know are clean, if there's 100 people, is it one guy that takes a chance and does something weird and then gets caught a few years later when they figure out a test for it?
Bro,
Might be.
Victor Conte was taking it to different levels.
Oh, he was?
Gummy bears in the 6th inning?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, and they would
Fucking
be out of your
gummy
system.
bears
Yeah.
in the 6th inning.